Abby Chin here with this week's Mint Reveal. We've got an awesome drop coming your way, and I wouldn't want to do it with anyone but my two guys. Let's start with Austin Kent, the king of the curation den. Austin, you have watched more basketball than I will ever dream of forgetting, so welcome.
Thank you.
And we're going to bring in the heart and soul of the curation den, and that is Brandon Sowle.
I'm glad you're back. I'm happy to be here. Let's get going.
We've got 3 different sets that are dropping: a fresh thread set, a metallic gold limited edition, and then we've got the rarest of the rare, some holo icons. Let's do this. Let's start with the fresh threads. Kristaps Porzingis.
Still just 26 years old. Kristaps Porzingis is just this high ceiling potential building block. Definitely worth the flyer for a team like Washington. I'm so excited to see what this pairing can equal out to, barring some good health.
Yeah, 25 points in his debut. Hopefully KP can make it work with Bradley Beal. Next up, my guys, Derrick White, brought into the Celtics, fits seamlessly. Brandon.
Derrick White, unexpected chance at a championship this year. Maybe the most underrated trade acquisition of this season.
Not in my world. My favorite story about that is that Greg Popovich went to tell Derrick about the trade in his hotel room, and Derrick gave him the wrong room number. All right, next up on the fresh threads, Seth Curry. I mean, this was huge for the Nets to get him, especially when you consider the injury of Joe Harris.
Yeah, I think this is just such a massive, underrated part of this trade. Seth Curry is just so deadly from beyond the line. He'll get you 40% from 3. He can get you 20-plus points when called upon. I'm excited to see what that equals out to in the playoffs.
You can also run the pick and roll. So, a good asset to have. Next up is Goran Dragic, also with the Nets, just hunting, looking for a championship, Brandon.
Yeah, he's looking to make the finals another time in what perhaps could be the last chapter of his career, and he has the potential to be a real difference maker come playoff time. Goran Dragic has been around for what feels like 30 years.
And Toronto did right by him. Letting him make that decision, how it all went down. Next up is Buddy Hield in Indiana.
Yeah, it's always fun when you can see a volume scorer like Buddy Hield, a vet that can put rack up buckets real quick on a team going through a bit of a transition in Indiana. I'm excited to see what he's able to do for that team as they sort of figure out the next steps for themselves.
Talk about next steps. Justise Winslow in Portland. Justise has made a lot of stops. Hopefully he's found a home with the Trailblazers.
Yeah, I was just about to say that same thing. 4th team in 2 years for Justise Winslow, and hopefully he has found a home in Rip City. Off to a really nice start. They're playing him a ton of minutes. He's making an impact.
Next up, Boogie Cousins. He has found a home in Denver, Austin.
You love to see it. DeMarcus Cousins isn't going to give you the 30-plus minutes that he would early in his career, but who has a better skill set to just come out and go to work in a 15, 20-minute role than Boogie Cousins? We are so lucky to have him back, and I'm excited to see what this Nuggets team can do.
DeMarcus just waiting for a call, and it came from his former coach in Michael Malone. I love it. Next up, we've got rewards, and we want to make this worth your while to complete these challenges. So your reward will be a Tyrese Haliburton moment, Brandon.
Maybe the most surprising trade at the deadline in at least a few years here. Indiana got a real gem. Tyrese Haliburton can do it all on the court. A very worthy centerpiece to build around. 16 dimes in this game. The dude's been balling since he's been in Indiana. Not that he wasn't before.
Rick Carlisle told me he is everything that you hear. We have another reward in this fresh threads drop, and that is James Harden, who the honeymoon in Philly was lovely, Austin.
Absolutely. In James Harden, we see one of the most efficient, effective scorers that we've ever seen in basketball. And it didn't take long for Philly fans to really see what that can mean on the court. It's a long season, but such a fascinating tandem to pair James Harden with Joel Embiid. And we're all going to be just the better off as basketball fans because we get to watch what this means in the postseason.
Let's move on to the metallic gold limited edition. Brandon, what makes these moments so special?
Well, only 5 per team here, so we really try to consider the 5 best players for each team within a given season. It's not easy. Not everyone's deserving. We have to make some tough cuts, some tough choices here. So These are very limited, 749 mint count. So these are some of the most prized possessions on Top Shot.
We're going to start with a guy who I'm not sure many people thought would be a top team and then one of the top players on one of the top teams in Ayo Dosunmu, the steal of the draft, Brandon.
Absolutely. Ayo, second round pick. Let that sink in. I mean,
number 38.
The kid starts games and is effective in these games. Had 14 dimes in this game, a career high, with this game-sealing dunk, which isn't just some dunk.
Next up, we move to Houston and Kevin Porter Jr., who, I mean, the athleticism with KPJ, never in question, Austin.
Absolutely not. You know, we're seeing Kevin Porter Jr. continue to level up. You know he's a scorer. You know he can put the ball in the basket. He's also got the ball on a string, and you know I have a soft spot for any sort of playmaker. I just love watching him duck around the defense like this. Kevin Porter Jr. has been a joy to watch in Houston.
We're going to have to make a hard turn here. We're going to go to Russell Westbrook, who always fun to watch, even if the Lakers might not be fun.
My beloved Russell Westbrook. You know, tough season for the Lakers, no doubt. Tough season for Russ, but a beauty of a no-look dime here to the King. We hope to see more of this going forward as the season closes down, as it progresses, as they get near that play-in game, which we expect to see the Lakers in. I'm rooting for Russ, man.
Moving on to Devontae Graham, who, not waiting for Zion, making things happen for the Pelicans.
Yeah, the game of basketball is all about stepping up, and we've seen that time and time again from Devontae Graham. The Pelicans are so lucky to have a player just this fearless in the clutch, and we get to enjoy it as basketball fans.
BI really coming on this season, too. Next up, oh man, this moment, any moment really, from Ja Morant is top shot worthy, but Ja is having himself a moment, Brandon.
How to do this moment justice, I have no idea. The most viral performance of the season, career high 52 points for Ja Morant, including this moment, and like Abby said, 7 other top shot worthy moments in this single game. Shaq said Ja Morant is the very best player in the NBA in just his 3rd season. Wild stuff.
He told me Tom Brady texted him, love to see it, number 12, and he texted back, appreciate you, GOAT. So, I mean, that's not bad. TB12.
That's why Tom Brady's coming back.
Now unretired. Right. Next up, Tobias Harris with Philadelphia.
Yeah, you know, I think Tobias Harris does his most damage when he's slept on, and I think he's in such a great position to really do that, really help round out this Philly team that is obviously very top-heavy with superstars in Joel Embiid. Don't rule him out like as a game changer come playoff time. I'm ready to see it.
I'm going to make a quick transition. Swipe of the Fox, Brandon.
Tough bucket by the clutch De'Aaron Fox. He's got the whole floor opened up to him to do what he wants. Working with Domantas Sabonis, it's going to be interesting to see what they build in Sacramento. Long time coming for those Kings fans.
Yes. A bright spot for the New Orleans Pelicans, Jonas Valanciunas.
One of my favorite stories of this NBA season was the half where Jonas Valanciunas went unconscious from 3. 29 of his career high 39 points in the first half of this one, including 7 of 7 from beyond the arc. Who thought JV had it in him? What a treat that was.
We go next to San Antonio and Lonnie Walker. Brandon, I gotta say, I missed the hair.
Missed the hair, but you know what? Opportunity has opened the door for Lonnie Walker here with Derrick White gone in Boston, and this dunk is a dunk contest worthy dunk. It's so smooth. People forget about Lonnie, but they shouldn't. He can play.
No question. I mean, the Spurs, so good at drafting guys who can play. Next up, RJ Barrett with the Knicks. And I know the Knicks haven't had the season that they would have liked, but this highlight came over a Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, we're all happy to watch RJ Barrett round out his offensive game in year 3. You know, we've seen these incremental improvements from him, and that's been fascinating. But sometimes you just got to stop and appreciate the sheer aesthetics of the dunk.
And we move on to another player who, Brandon, I am going to need your help with pronouncing, Deni Avdija from the Wizards.
You nailed it. Deni Avdija is earning quite the reputation on the defensive end this season, and that's exactly why you see him here in metallic gold LE for the Wizards, because Wizards fans love this kid. He's getting better every single game. Offensive players hate going against him, I'll tell you that much.
And Deni just in his 2nd season, I mean, I think he was a surprise draft pick, but I'm excited to see how much he grows. Our final one of this metallic gold limited edition is the reward. So you got to complete a challenge for this, but then you get Scottie Barnes, who Austin just plays with so much joy.
And I think Raptors fans are just in for a treat watching this player who was kind of considered unpolished, you know, in the summer. That is so far from the truth, and we're seeing all these layers to his game. It's just been a blast to enjoy.
And we're closing it out with the Holo Icons. These are the rarest of the rare. There are only 3 moments minted per team per season. So if you are a fan of these moments or a fan of these players, you want to get your hands on these moments. We're going to start with one of my guys, Jaylen Brown, and he has had a lot of dunks in his career, but this is a pretty great one. And I want this moment as a collector because I am just a huge fan of JB. Brandon.
Abby, when will defenders learn their lesson with Jaylen Brown? Get out of the way. I mean, he's coming, he's going to hammer it on your head, and you're making a mistake.
Next up is Rudy Gobert, a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, Austin, and plays like it every game.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody knows that Rudy Gobert will meet you at the summit. Doesn't matter who you are or who's shooting. But the fact that he's also got the foot speed to keep up with an offensive player as crafty as Luka Doncic is just so impressive. Truly a generationally elite defender. Rudy Gobert does it every night.
On to the best team in the league in the Suns. And DeAndre Ayton. Brandon, this looks a little familiar.
That's right, it does. And you know this felt good for DeAndre Ayton, dunking it on the head of the finals MVP in a 27-point win against those defending champs. You know they're looking out for revenge here. DeAndre Ayton, forgotten about, a huge piece.
And could be a restricted free agent coming up. Next up, Anthony Simons, who has been huge for the Blazers, stepping up with Damian Lillard injured. Austin.
Yeah, he's just been a cutting image of his superstar teammate. This is what years of being an understudy can do for a player, especially a young, hungry player with the skills that Anthony Simons has. To see him bust out just that Dame-esque dagger 3, you love to see what Anthony Simons has learned from Dame, and we love to be able to see what he's actually capable of showing now that he's got a bit more of an opportunity.
Next up, the man that my good friend Kendrick Perkins calls Bam Adebayo in Miami, the #1 team in the East, Bam Adebayo.
We are on the topic of elite centers in this Holo Icon batch, and Bam Adebayo is absolutely that. He is a do-it-all center, one of the most underrated players in the league, and this is an elite play, and that is why it is in Holo Icon. LaMelo Ball thinks he has the layup here. Bam Adebayo says, no. This is my legendary moment.
And this is my Eastern Conference right now. LaMelo, though, does have some pretty good finishes in his repertoire. And this moment is a reward for completing a challenge because, never a dull moment with LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, exactly. Before we ever saw LaMelo Ball go through his legs for an alley-oop in the All-Star game, he was doing this in regulation. We are so fortunate to have a player not only as creative as LaMelo Ball, but as confident as LaMelo Ball. Just one of the most fascinating players to, set foot on a court this season. We are so lucky to have him.
Those are the moments of the latest drop. I'm so excited. It's coming this week. But first, we have to tell you something that we are so excited about, and that is upcoming drops that they have been working on diligently inside the Curation Den. Austin, tell me about it.
Well, we've been so hard at work building Series 3 throwdowns, just an epic set of the best dunks of the season. We've been so excited for the set ever since opening day. We've been slowly just stashing those great viral dunks that we've all been just gushing over on Twitter and on Discord. And we're ready for them to see the light of day, to get minted as moments in the throwdown set.
And Brandon, I know you've been working on something pretty spicy.
That's right. We have a new set in the works called Extra Spice. Long time settling on that name. That's a story for another day. But it's a nice blend of some of the best celebrations on some of the best plays over the course of the season and some of those plays that just have that extra spice to them. Just unnecessary dribble moves, flashy passes, what have you. Awesome set. I'm really looking forward to you guys seeing it.
I cannot wait. Everyone, keep it tuned to NBA Top Shot and the blog for all the latest news and drops. Thanks so much for watching this Mint Reveal. We leave you with a montage of all of the base set moments from this drop. Enjoy.